theme today is through the golden years, and our scripture text come from this theme on this day, come from the 23rd numbers of Psalms, the whole entire chapter. But when I look at this 23rd numbers of Psalms, when I look at this, I look at the fourth verse here in this 23rd numbers of Psalm. It says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comforts me. My brothers and sisters, if I had just had to choose a subject on this day and to encourage our senior citizens on this day, I would just like to say to the senior citizens, and the senior citizen can say to you to encourage you on this day. If I had to choose a subject on this day, the subject will be, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. My brothers and sisters, in our society in which we live in today, a lot of times we spend a lot of time trying to achieve some kind of security in life, some kind of stability that we think sometimes in our mind that will be permanent. We save money to try to invest wisely that we will never have a financial problem. We exercise, we diet, hoping to maintain and have a healthy body. And though we know that these bodies are going to get old and these bodies is going to get sick, but in the back of our mind, we still think for a very long time that everything is going to be all right. We think that we sometimes won't go through some difficulties of life. But I want to let you know, my brothers and sisters, everyone up under the sound of my voice, from the oldest one to the youngest one, will have to go through some difficulties in their life. For my Bible, it tells me in John the 16th chapter, 33rd verse, Jesus said, in me you shall have peace. For he said, in this world you will have tribulations. So tribulation illustrates to me, my brothers and sisters, that we will have some trouble within our lives. But we have to have a made up mind, my brothers and sisters, that no matter what kind of trouble that we have in our life, we have to make up in our mind that we have made up in our mind that we shall not be moved. A lot of us have disappointment is in our life. We have hardships. And a lot of times, my brothers and sisters, it calls us to get to a place in life where we feel like we're not able to make it through our situation of life. But I just want to let you know, my brothers and sisters, as long as you have God on your side, I just come to let you know that everything will be all right. If you trust, lean in, you depend on God, God will see you through all that you're going through. I reminded my brothers and sisters about the Apostle Paul. Apostle Paul was a man that was called by God. My brothers and sisters, he wrote to the Corinthians that was having some struggles at that time. And my brothers and sisters, Paul at this time in 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter, verses 8, Paul is having some struggles himself. And I don't know who I'm talking to on this day. They may find yourself in some troubling situations of life and don't know how you're going to make it through. But I want to let you know, my brothers and sisters, if you have God on your side, you shall not be moved. The Bible records in that 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter, 8th verse, Paul said, we are hard pressed on every side. And my brothers and sisters, Paul at that time, and him and his people was dealing with some terrible times. It seemed like they had trouble on every side of their life. But my brothers and sisters, I want to let you know that Paul himself had a made up mind that even though that I got trouble on every side, my trouble is not crushing me. Paul said, he went on, he said that I'm having pressures in every side, in every place in my life. I'm perplexed, but I'm not in the place of despair. In other words, my brothers and sisters, no matter what you seem to be going through in your life, you have to learn to hold on to God's unchanging hand. and realizing that God will see you through your situation of life. Paul reminds us, my brothers and sisters, even though sometimes we still remind ourselves that sometimes we feel like we are up against the rope in our life, and sometimes we feel that we at the end of our ropes. And sometimes, my brothers and sisters, I want to let you know that even when you find yourself at the end of your ropes in life, if you trust in God, you're never at the end of your hope. My brothers and sisters, I want to let you know that hope that we have is not built on nothing less but Jesus Christ in his righteousness. My brothers and sisters, as long as you keep your hands in the master's hand, I just believe that everything will be all right. Now we know that the enemy comes in John 10:10. It said he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But I come to let you know, my brothers and sisters, that Jesus said that I come that you may have life and have life more abundantly. In other words, my brothers and sisters, I come to serve notice to the devil on this day, to let him know, to let him and his hell angels know that no matter what I'm going through right now, no matter what's going on in my life right now, I shall not be moved. In other words, you can come and bring all of your tactics that you have. And I realize, my brothers and sisters, that the devil is not a good Bible reader. Now, he is a good Bible reader, but he's not a good Bible follower. Because one thing that he needs to know, that when he's messing with you, he forgot to understand that God said in the word that no weapon formed against you shall be able to prosper. So as long as you trust me and you depend on God, I just believe that everything will be all right. God is our refuge. God is our strength. God is a present help in the time of trouble. Do I got a witness out there that know that when the enemy comes in like a flood within your life, that God is still with you while you're going through? The songwriter says he's there all the time. Is there anybody know that God is there all the time? In the time of your sickness, in the time of your misunderstanding, in the time of your trouble in your life, God is still there. That's why I can just tell the devil, no matter what you bring to me, no matter what I have to face in my life, I shall not be moved. Is there anybody here by the sound of my voice that are made up in their mind that no matter what I'm going through, no matter what I may be facing, no matter what my friends said, no matter what the doctor said, no matter what I'm going through, I made up in my mind, I shall not be moved. Brothers and sisters, I want to let you know, my brothers and sisters, when the enemy comes in your life, and it seems like now we're dealing with more tragedies, more trouble than we're seeing in our lives. But I just believe that some of the people that's on our senior citizen program that done deal with a lot of more stuff that I find myself dealing with. Because I just believe, my brothers and sisters, we say that we've been through the storm and we've been through the rain. But I just believe, my brothers and sisters, the one that's a part of our senior citizen program on this day, they can be like the psalm that says, I've seen the lightning flash. I've heard the thunder roll. That sin dashes have come to conquer my soul. But I heard the voice of Jesus telling me to be well bound, my child. And I'm so glad, my brothers and sisters, that the God that I serve, he said he'll never leave me, nor will he forsake me. He said he'll be with me even until the end of the world. So I stopped by here to tell you, my brothers and sisters, David said, I'm walking through the valley of the shadow of death, but I shall not be moved. I come by here to encourage you on this day, no matter what you're facing in your life on this day, you got to have a made up mind that you shall not be moved. Trouble may be on every side, but you shall not be moved. For I know I got a God that sits high and a God that's able to look mighty low. And there's one thing that I made up in my mind, there is a God that's able, that while I'm going through my situation of life, that I know that everything is going to be all right. So I stop by him to encourage you on this day. Have a made up mind to know that you shall not be moved. And I come to give the devil a notice on this day and to let him know, come on with your tactics, come on with your trials, come on with your tribulation. I shall not be moved. If sickness invades my body, I shall not be moved. If trouble is all around me, I shall not be moved. If I don't know how I want to get through my situation of life, I made up in my mind that I shall not be moved. Do I got a witness out there that have made up in their mind, no matter what they may be facing on this side of heaven, I shall not be moved. For the Bible declares that Jesus came down through 42 generations to make everything all right for me. And if he made it all right for me, he'll make it all right for you. That's why I made up in my mind, I shall not be moved. Because Jesus told me, let not my heart be troubled. If you believe in God, I also believe in me. So I made up in my mind, if I trust, lean, and depend on him, I shall not be moved. For my Bible tells me that greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So I shall not be moved. David was a boy and he ended up being a man, and he said in the word that I have been young, but now I'm old. I never seen the righteous forsaken, nor have I seen his seed begging bread. So I want to let you know, my brothers and sisters, you might have been young and now you may be old. The same God that was there before is the same God that's there now. So there's one thing that I got to do. I got to be like David was when he said in the 34th numbers of Psalm, I will bless the Lord at all times. His praises shall continually be in my mouth. Is there anybody here that has made up in their mind, I ain't going nowhere? No matter what my enemies say, I ain't going nowhere. No matter what the doctor says, I'm not going nowhere. No matter what happens, I'm not going nowhere. In other words, you made up in your mind, I shall not be moved. Is there anybody here that made up in their mind, they just going to run on and see what the end is going to be? There was a man, he came down through 42 generations to save old wretch just like me. He had his heart fixed and his mind made up. In other words, he made up in his mind, I shall not be moved. They whipped him with 39 stripes, marched him from Judgment Hall, but he had his mind made up, I shall not be moved. They put a cross upon his shoulder, marched him up Calvary Hill, but he already had his heart fixed and his mind made up. Is it anybody under the sound of my voice got their heart fixed and their mind made up? Come what may, I shall not be moved. They put a cross on his back. He marched up, got the hill. They laid the cross on the ground, and they put my Savior on the ground. But did I tell you he had a made up mind? I shall not be moved. They nailed 9-inch hand nails into his hands, but he had a made up mind. He shall not be moved. They riveted his feet, drove in a 12-inch spank, but he had his heart fixed and his mind made up. I shall not be moved. They hung him high, stretched and wide, but he had a made up mind. I shall not be moved, because I heard him saying, if I be lifted up, I draw all men unto me. And I'm so glad that one Tuesday in the barracks of Fort Dix, New Jersey, that he was in the drawing business, and he drew me to him. And I'm so glad that since he drew me in, that sometimes the road get rough, that sometimes I'm not able to see my way through, but I got my heart fixed and my mind made up. I shall not be moved. Do I got one witness out there that know what I'm talking about? They put him on that cross, and on that cross he died, but the Bible declares that they put him in Joseph newborn tomb. My brothers and sisters, he stayed in the grave all night Friday, all day Saturday, all night Saturday night, but the Bible declares that Ellen, and I do mean Ellen, that Sunday morning he got up, all power in heaven and earth in his hand. Do you know him? The saving power, the holding on power, the delivering power, and since he got power and all power, I shall not be moved. I got one witness that ain't going nowhere, no matter what you face, no matter what you're going through, just hold on to God's unchanging hand. God will. God will. God will see you through. I shall not be moved. And if you believe that in your heart on this day, you just need to give God a round of applause. Because God has the power to hold you when nobody else wants to hold you. God's got the power to see you through when you can't see your way through. But you got to have a made up mind. The psalmist said, yea, though I walk. And that's one thing that I like about